Nic Baisley. I'm the man that is both Siskel and Partybert, and by that I mean both fat and bald. So, that being said, we've got a great show for you guys tonight. No Jerry Cavallero with us tonight. No director of Stuck Like Chuck. He's actually at a party tonight at the premiere of the new web series Malarkey, starring Dan Fogler. So lucky for him, he's out in Manhattan enjoying that. It's going to be, we wish him well there. We've got a great show for everyone tonight. I want to first kick it out there that we've got some great guests. Tonight we have film festival director of the New York City Filmmakers Festival, Darren Levine, on first, and then after we're done speaking with him about his new festival, we're going to speak with Lucas McNelly, director of Blanc de Blanc. And we're going to speak with him about his film and some interesting things that he's got going on with his theatrical distribution, something that a lot of filmmakers are having a hard time getting right now, and hopefully he's going to tell us about how he got this distribution deal kicked off. That being said, we got so much to talk about. I think we need to get right into it with our first guest. Our first guest is he's a man after my own heart. He's sexy, I gotta tell you. No, he's an indie guy, and he's now the festival director of the first year festival, the New York City Filmmakers Festival here in there in Manhattan, coming up this June 3rd to the 5th. His name is Mr. Darren Levine, and he's with us now. So, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Darren Levine, how you doing, sir?
How you doing tonight, Nick?
I gotta tell you, I'm doing well. How are you tonight?
I'm good. We actually just finished up submissions, although I think there's going to be a few little stragglers coming in tomorrow. But we're going to be announcing the final acceptance hopefully this Thursday, at the latest this Friday. And we're going to put ourselves together a nice little festival, some indie films. I'm
looking forward to it. Let's go. Let's talk a little bit about you, a little biography. What got you interested in film, first of all?
Well, I don't know if I should say that back in high school, a few buddies of mine were into backyard wrestling of all things, and they just wanted me to take the camera and start recording them and edit together, and that's actually the first experience I have with any sort of filmmaking. But it progressed to there, and I didn't realize that's what I was going to do until a little bit into college, although when I thought college was going to teach me more about it, it really didn't. So I started actually teaching other people what I knew because I had accumulated a bunch of knowledge just by going out head on and just taking things on and doing it myself.
Okay, and what? So tell us a little bit about your career, and especially you're doing this teaching now. Is there what made you want to share this knowledge? I mean, did you find that there was something lacking in these other areas or other schools and stuff like that?
Well, as I've been looking around, and I mean, I only decided to actually do the festival the end of last year. And the real driving force of that wasn't so much that I wanted to share more knowledge, because I'll actually be doing that in more workshops we put together after the festival. Mm-hmm. But the festival really came about when I read about what the Queens International Film Festival did. And I don't mind doing a little bash on the radio because they literally took the money and ran. Mm-hmm. And the people that were involved with that are livid about it. And I just couldn't believe that I mean, I know what the other festivals are like. They're what you expect. You can submit, you probably won't get in, and then if you go there, you watch a movie, and that's pretty much it. But, I mean, to hear that one festival literally just said, they didn't pay the projectionist, their graphic designer, they skipped down the bill for all the venues, and the filmmakers, Lord knows that they even actually judge the film. They've always just actually said, let's just throw them all in there and make everybody happy and pretend like we're actually doing something real. Mm. But once we saw even Fox 5 Problem Solvers actually caught up with the woman that did that, and it was just insane how they actually got away with it, even though there's, I think, about a dozen lawsuits open with them. But that was really the driving force, and I met up with one of my producers, and he actually pushed me to do the festival sooner rather than later, and hey, I like always doing things gung-ho, so we ended up doing it a little short on time, but it's turning out to be a really well-put-together festival. We get some fun little films to show people. But in terms of my background, well, I just kind of bought a camera right out of college, went and started shooting things for anybody and everybody, and probably about the same thing that every other student filmmaker out of school does. And it's really a hit or miss industry. There's a lot of competition. And so what I did was I opened up my own little studio and started teaching just one-on-one courses to people that wanted to learn a little more about the technical side of operating digital video. Because most colleges, universities, and other film schools, they really don't get much into the technical details. Okay, what is an XLR cable? Oh, it plugs into the microphone. Well, why use it over, stereo mini? All those little kind of annoying technical things are I call myself the trash bin of information. And I just did another demo for the Canon 5D at a meetup group, and people were just, silently absorbing the information. And I thought they were bored, but they came up afterwards and said, "Thank you for that. That was a whole lot of information that we didn't know about." I'm like, wow, really? That was 15 minutes out of the usual 2 hours that I take on that camera alone. But it's good to know that people are actually using the information and enjoying it.
Fair enough. I mean, a lot of people, you're right, they do pretty much just say, here's the equipment, go use it. And, or just, they explain the theory on how to do stuff, but are less technical with the descriptions and stuff like that. And also, I mean, some of them try to pack so much information into such a small period of time. I mean, you have like the 2-day film schools and all that kind of stuff where they just inundate you. So to have someone out there who is giving a little bit more broader information is obviously very helpful. So I got to ask you, this film festival, it's a first-year festival, and I hope it's successful, and I hope it goes on to many more years after that. The big question I have is what so far has been the most challenging part of putting this whole thing on?
The most challenging part has definitely been the time constraint. When we decided back in January that we were literally going to do it in June, less than a half a year to put together the whole festival is practically insane for the most part. Most festivals, their deadline for submissions is months in advance. And meanwhile, we're literally cutting things down to days, not even weeks, just to try to get as many people involved as possible. Because, I mean, let's face it, if your name isn't known in the festival circuit, then people probably won't even bother. So we've literally had to, not be pushy, but really try to get our voices out there and say, well, listen, this is what we're trying to do. We're trying to help people out. Come give us advice. We want to listen to what people want in the festival. And so people will say, well, we like this. Well, we don't like this of other festivals. Can you do this? And so since our first year, we can't do as much as we want to, but we're still putting together a pretty nice festival with some prizes. So one of the things we're trying to do is figure out how to not just give something back to the people that win, but also give something back to people that even submitted but maybe didn't get accepted, or even the people that just attend. So we're going to get some free giveaways to even just those general people, just so that they can actually get something out of the festival as opposed to just sitting there watching the film. Sitting watching a funny little film is always going to be fun as well. But we're really trying to pick our own brains and pick other people's brains and figure out how we can make festivals useful again. I mean, maybe that should actually be our tagline, making festivals useful again, just because, every time I speak to filmmakers, and it's on a weekly basis, even before I was getting into the whole festival thing, you ask them, oh, did you get into, Tribeca or Sundance? It's always the same answer. They don't even hear back from them usually.
Right.
It's just a hard thing to do. Because, honestly, my general opinion about what is an indie film, and that's what we're catering to, is indie, I consider indie to be low budget. And low budget, I'm sorry, does not mean $5 million. It's like Hollywood thinks that by creating their own, little sub-versions of themselves, like Lionsgate, that's not indie. You got big-name actors in there, and you spend millions of dollars. In my mind, it's just not indie. It's not the true spirit of filmmaking. I'll be honest, some great films made by that level of production house, and they're great films, but it's still not those raw, hardcore filmmakers that are just, getting the equipment together, to get a few people just to, get their little dream video made, and that's a great spirit, and that's what we're trying to encompass and trying to encourage. And the one thing I'm finding is that I'm looking at the submissions, and because I have to sit in with the judges and watch, just like an organized things, and I'm thinking, we can't show everybody's film, and that kind of annoys me. You have to pick and choose, and choose the best films, but it's those things that I'm going to be keeping in mind for the years to come. Is what can we do with everybody's film to just try and give them something back? Because the whole point is to even if it's not the most amazing film, we want people to see it. And it might only be funny or cute to those who made it, but still, it's fun to show your film to people and say, yeah, look, we just threw this together. We know it's not perfect, but, we got it done. And that's really a great thing, to actually not just, sit on the couch and say we could do this, but actually going and getting it done is a whole thing entirely. Shooting it, editing it, getting the actors together, getting something put together, no matter how little a thing, is an impressive thing to do. I mean, now in the YouTube age, obviously, I think something as simple as sitting in front of a webcam. But I mean, okay, we're not talking about webcam videos here. We're talking about, at least a nice little narrative or documentary. We've had things as short as 2 minutes to be submitted. And some of them are great.
And some of the other things that you're doing too, that are a little bit unique, that I see very few festivals do, is you're also partnering up and working with a charity.
Yeah.
Talk to us a little bit how you're getting involved with that. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, since you mentioned the charity, it's just another way we're trying to give a little more back, because we're really, our kind of feeling is to do the exact opposite of what that Queens International Film Festival did. So we're like, let's see what we can give to anybody and everybody. So we picked a nice little charity. I think it's called the Free Arts NYC charity. And so it's a charity that's based for children that want to do more arts-based projects. So we're contracted in to give them 10% of any profits we make. I like to say contracted because if someone says they're giving a charity, well, that could mean anything in the industry. Make it enough. No, we have it signed in ink that we're giving to them. And we're proud of that because, it's charity. It's giving something back, not just making it for yourself. So we like that we're able to give back to them as well, especially since, they're helping out children do more art-based things. We
have a question from the audience here. First Glance Film, which is actually another film festival in both LA and Philadelphia. They ask, do you plan on using Without a Box for your submissions in the future? We know that as a first-year festival, it can be a little expensive to use a service like that, but do you plan on using that in the future?
Absolutely. When we first looked at Without a Box, the main benefit to using it, obviously, is that a lot of filmmakers know it and use it. But in looking at the setup of it, it does take some time to set up. That wasn't the concern. It's that we literally started this festival with zero budget, I'm not ashamed to say. We literally started just finding those who wanted to invest in it. And Without a Box's upfront fees are not horrible, but they were still just too much for us to justify for what else we wanted to get going at the moment. And so once we had set up our own submission system, it really didn't make much sense to then use Without a Box, especially since it has a very nice, obviously streamlined submission system. But the other big benefit to that is that you can have email blasts, publicity done, but all that, again, it costs money. So first year, it's always tough, but we've been getting some great stuff coming in. And so next year, we're obviously going to use Without a Box. They're a great service. They're connected to IMDb, so they instantly give you some credit just from being in a festival that, has IMDb, at least subnamed on it, so to speak. But, for this time, the whole submission through, PayPal in a regular form, it worked out just fine. People seem to take kindly to it. There's only a few people that tried to actually print the form out and somehow managed to fudge that up. But we helped them out, made a few more copies for them, and they got them in.
Do you feel at all that there's a you're at a disadvantage at all being in New York, being the fact that there's so many other film festivals in New York City? Do you feel that that you're going to have to work a lot harder to set yourself apart from all these other festivals?
It's kind of a double-edged question. On the surface of it, I'd say absolutely yes. I mean, we're a dime a dozen. There's plenty of other festivals out there, and a lot of them are good. I love a bunch of them, especially the smaller ones that have, their own specific niche. And those are great because you know exactly what you're getting, and they're a lot of fun. We're kind of taking more of a general approach, just a general film festival that accepts all types of categories. And you know what? We might alter it in the future. This is really kind of our feeling out to see what people want the most of, and we're going to adapt to it in the future years to come. But yeah, it's definitely tough out there. But the thing is that for every film festival there's at least 1,000 people trying to submit. So there's always room for more. And one of the things we're not doing is making any limitations on when your film was made or where you had showcased it before. Pretty much if you've made it, you can submit it. And because when we originally sat down to figure out, what should we limit? Well, then we thought about it, well, why would we limit? well, I guess because, the bigger festivals, they want you to show it there first. They don't want to be showing things that other people have seen elsewhere.
Mm-hmm.
It's a mentality that makes sense for, cons and Sundance and whatnot, but we're really just trying to, but also the cons and Sundance, they have big name films in there. Some films you see in Hollywood show up in those festivals beforehand. I don't really get the point of those kind of festivals if they're just really showing off what Hollywood's already making. So we're really not taking those kind of mentalities. We're trying to take the mentality that, an indie filmmaker got it together, got it done, and just wants to show it and get it seen around. So we're just taking that approach. But, we're always going to adapt. We're going to see what people want and try to improve it for each year to come.
Just want to let everyone know that if you guys out there want to get a little bit more information on this film festival, you can go to www.filmfestny.com. You can also follow Mr. Darren and the festival on Twitter, twitter.com/filmfestny. So if this, all right. So let's project into the future a little bit here. Your festival goes off without a hitch. It's a big success. Everyone who's at the festival is enjoys their time there, and word gets out. What would you do different next year, barring that this year is a success for you?
Well, like I said before, I would definitely use Without a Box because I did want to use them. But for next year, I definitely want to improve the venue. The venue we got is great for this year. It's the Scandinavia House. It's a little-known place we didn't even know about until we randomly found it in the Elle magazine. And they've been great with helping us out. We love them. But if we do grow, we're going to need to grow out of that space because the capacity is 170, which is great for a festival. But, if that gets filled up, we're going to have to go to something bigger. And our eyes are actually set on SVA Theater, which is an incredible venue. We actually visited them first, but they were well beyond our budget. So we had to kindly say thank you to Gene Stavis there, who was really helpful. But we told them, we'll be back, fear not, because they have the best projection system you can imagine in New York City. They have a 266-seat theater, stadium seated, and I believe it's about a 480-seat theater. And the reason I know about that place is because I saw the premiere of Daybreakers there. Regular Hollywood film is doing a premiere, and the projection is just pristine. They have $84,000 NEC projectors that are just gorgeous. So obviously I want to showcase people's films in the utmost of quality. So that's going to be my next step, and next year is improving the venue. But not to say our venue this year is poor. We still have HD projection. It's about a 25-foot screen, I believe. It's really nice theater that's quality with the sound, the dancing. It's a regular screening room. It's not like an auditorium that's converted into a screening room. But in terms of other things that might improve, we'll just streamline things a little bit nicer. Maybe make the ticketing a little more easy. Right now we just have where you use PayPal and you bring your receipt. What we're going to do is just have a running list of everyone that's bought a ticket. So even if they lose their sheet, we're going to have a list so people can get in easily. But in the future, all the little things that most people don't even think about that we obviously have to think about, we'll nitpick and get them to be a little more easy and a little bit more just nice overall.
Sure. What are some of the you have all these filmmakers here. There's usually prizes involved with some of these types of festivals. What are some of the prizes that you're planning on giving out for or perks that you're looking to give out to the filmmakers?
Well, we're actually still building the prize list, believe it or not. Like I said, we're pulling things by the day as opposed to the week or month. But currently we have lined up, one of the bigger prizes is going to be an hour's worth of flight time with a remote aerial helicopter pilot. Gentleman from Skycam USA, he's going to provide an hour's worth of his time, which is, an hour's of his time is like $1,000. So it's quite an expensive thing that normally a regular old filmmaker wouldn't have you wanted to do. But so whoever wins one of the bigger prizes is going to get that, which is going to add a lot of production value to their next film. No,
because otherwise they would be stuck with like stock footage, and even that can be very expensive sometimes for the licensing for that.
Well, a little tangent for stock footage. Stock footage is great because you pay a few dollars, you get some footage, but the problem does it match your footage that you're shooting with your camera? Right. Is it exactly the angle you need? And also, it's a lot of searching around, although stock footage is making a really, really big push. And I know a lot of people that are actually making plenty of money making stock footage with their cameras because, you may do get royalty fees for life for it. So I can imagine that stock footage will actually be an even bigger role in the coming years. But, I mean, I always believe you shoot it for yourself. But, I mean, it always depends on your budget.
We do have another quick question from the audience here. At First Glance Film also asks, would you partner with any other film festivals in the future?
I do see that, and Mr. First Glance Film, absolutely. We'd love to partner with anybody in the industry that wants to do good things. Like I've been telling literally anybody in the industry, if you have interesting ideas, we are absolutely open to anything that sounds interesting and that'll benefit people. Like most places or other, I will say businesses in general, are typically closed off to new ideas. We're pulling the exact opposite bit. We're saying, let's see what's out there, let's see what people want, and if other festivals want to partner up, absolutely, we'd love to sit down.
Great. Let's go back to the other prizes. So we got the hour of flight time. What else do we have?
Well, we also have 3 copies of Sony Vegas that are going to be given away. Actually, I believe you had a hand in helping us with that, Mr. Baisley.
I don't know what you're talking about. That's preposterous.
You've been actually a wonder. You've been really supportive of us, and we really appreciate that, and giving us a few names to help support the filmmakers as well. And other prizes, we might be getting some equipment from some other manufacturers, although I can't promise them just yet, but we have negotiations with Kudo and Cinovate, and they're interested, but they're looking to see if they have stock for us. So those companies are in such high demand now that they don't even have, their regular products in stock, let alone, extras to give away for prizes. So they're just trying to see what they can possibly get to us without putting their current customers further on back order. They make some great stuff, so we'll see if we get some of that.
All right. Well, let's. I know that we're running out of time a little bit here, so let's give all the final plugs. It's the New York City Filmmakers Festival, June 3rd to the 5th. It's going to be at the screening room. Is the Scandinavia House in New York City, downtown, right in Manhattan. What's the actual what's the actual address or right thereabouts? Do you know off the top of your head?
Yeah, it's 58 Park Avenue, which is between 37th and 38th Street. It's just south of Grand Central Station. And it's just north of one of the 6 train stops. So anybody that's in Union Square can hop on the 6 train and get up there in about 5 minutes. Yep,
decent area of town. You don't even have to worry about being on the corner of Mud Whitey and Stab Whitey. And it sounds like it's going to be good stuff. I mean,
on me, are you?
Maybe a little bit. No, I appreciate you taking the time to come on the show tonight. Again, New York City Indie Film Festival, New York City Filmmakers Festival over at again, Scandinavia House, June 3rd through the 5th. Darren Levine, everybody. Say goodbye to Mr. Darren Levine. Thank you for coming on, sir.
Thanks a lot, Nick. Take care.
Take care, man. And again, make sure you hit him up at twitter.com/FilmFestNY. And he's on Facebook as well. Just search them out. Search for NYC Filmmakers Festival. It's on Facebook as well. So, that being said, that was Mr. Darren Levine, everyone, and I wish him very good luck on his first year of his film festival. We will be attending. I'm hoping. I think we're like 90% sure that we're going to be there. So if you are in Manhattan during the June 3rd to the 5th, come on down to the Filmmakers Festival. Enjoy some good indie movies. Say hi to me. Maybe I'll have some prizes to give away if you find me. If you find me, I'll give you stuff. That's how it works. You get a keychain shaped like a dick. I don't know why. Or I'll give you maybe, a free copy of Final Draft, or maybe some subscriptions to Movie Maker magazine or something. I don't know. I'm wily. I got things up my sleeves. Speaking of Movie Maker, I think this. We haven't really been doing our sponsor plugs very much, and we don't want to anger the gods that are the sponsors. So what I want to do right now is I want to plug our good friends at Movie Maker Magazine. Do you know if you go to www.moviemaker.com/subscribe/FilmSnobbery, you can get a year subscription to Movie Maker Magazine for just $6? You can't beat that deal. You can just do it. They got good stuff in there. Movie Maker Magazine, I really approve of them. They really do capture a good combination of both the higher end and also regular indie. I just saw a great article on us in there, so there's that. Also, check out our good friends as well at Final Draft, finaldraft.com. They're makers of the screenwriting software, Final Draft. The industry standard for screenwriting software, in the industry. It's all good stuff there. And also, their subsidiary, another company, I just dropped my pen, another company they own, Script Magazine. I want to just give a shout out real quick to Script Magazine because they did an article that featured a very good friend of the show, good friend of mine, David Spaltro, director of the movie Around, in one of their articles, and it was just really nice to see that his work is getting out there, and so is his name. So I was really interested to see that. So, that being said, this Filmmakers Festival is not the only festival that you're going to be able to see us at, us being FilmSnobbery in the near future. We've just confirmed for the Staten Island Film Festival and also another film festival in Manhattan. I think it might be the Manhattan Film Festival. I have to double check. So if that's the case, then we'll see you guys there as well. We're getting around. A lot of festivals coming up this year. A lot of great things coming up this year. Also, you guys in the audience have been wanting to talk about cameras recently. You guys are all about the cameras. I've heard this, and I've listened, and this is what I'm going to give to you. We just contacted Canon a few days ago, and they're going to be sending us a Canon Rebel T2i to test here in demo in the studio. So we're going to be doing a live demo of that in the near future as soon as they send us the camera. We may also take it to some of these festivals if it gets here in time. We may take it to some of these festivals with us too and shoot some footage and stuff like that. If you guys are interested and would like to get close up with it and stuff like that, we'd be happy to let you look at it while we're out and about. So that being said, we've got some great stuff going on. For the rest of the show, we've got another guest coming on in the very near future. We have Mr. Lucas McNelly. Met him actually at, I believe it was DIY Days. I always get the conversation and DIY Days mixed up. Met Lucas at DIY Days in New York City this was last month. And him and I and a bunch of other people, Pericles from the Annapolis Pretentious Film Society, and Jerry Cavallero, co-host, Marinelle, John Trigonis, all these other people, who are out, by the way, filming Cerise right now. Trigonis, good luck. We all went out for lunch, and we got talking, and Lucas said, hey, I'd love to be on the show. I said, I'd love to have you. So what we're going to do now is we're going to show you his trailer for his movie, which is now actually playing in theaters, something that's not a lot of indies can say, and we're going to talk to him about it. We're going to show you the trailer for his movie, Blanc de Blanc, and we'll be right back. So stick around.
What is going on?
I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to do this.
You didn't have to. I just throw you out the first night.
Ladies and gentlemen, Lucas motherfrackin' McNelly. How you doing, man?
Good, how are you?
I'm doing well, man. Thank you for coming on the show.
Oh, no, my pleasure.
You're calling us. You're on the East Coast with us. You're not in New York, though. You're up in Maine.
I'm up in Mid-Coast, Maine right now, yeah, with my movie, running around, trying to convince people to come see it and not go see Iron Man 2.
And how's that working out for you?
It's, it's kind of like playing poker with a table full of professionals. You know you're going to lose in the end, but like today, we outsold Iron Man 2 at the 7 o'clock show.
Nice.
So sometimes you win a couple hands.
Excellent, excellent. So that, and I love the poker analogy, by the way.
I figured you would.
I'm a big poker fan. But, and now I feel bad for wearing my Iron Man shirt.
I saw that. I was like, oh.
Well, you didn't send me a Blanc de Blanc shirt, so there you go.
Well, we don't have any. So.
Well, see, you can't compete with that kind of marketing. I believe that's what they call all in. But so tell us a little bit about your movie.
Okay. It's a love story with a mystery wrapped around it, or a mystery with a love story wrapped around it, depending on how you want to look at it. And we shot it and edited in 2 weeks as part of Reed Gershwin's 2-week film project initiative thing. And our budget is $970.
970. I gotta tell you, that movie looked like a little bit more than $970.
Well, thank you. Someone today said that in the audience. They were kind of shocked that we got it in for $970. It's a lot of borrowed equipment, and it's a lot of people working for free.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
Right. Exactly.
That's the spirit of indie.
That's it, exactly. Yeah, and I think that's the whole point of the project. You know, we shot it in 4.5 days. They were very, very, very long days, but they were still days. And, you know, so far people like it, and somehow we managed to talk a theater into playing us on the big screen next to Iron Man.
Yeah, let's chat a little bit about that. How did you, you know, how were you able to make that deal?
Well, I'm from the area originally. So I worked at the theater years and years and years ago. So I tracked down my old boss and I emailed her. And I was like, hey, I'm from the area, and you know, people probably still know who I am a little bit. I'm like, I have this movie. I'll come up there. I'll promote the hell out of it, and we won't be the lowest grossing movie you've got in that week, I'm sure. And she went, oh, well, I'll ask my boss. And I thought, you know, they would ignore me. But her boss said, okay, yeah, that sounds interesting. Let's do that. And I went, what do you mean? What do you mean, what? Because I figured we would have no chance of that. And they said, yeah, and it was really incredibly simple.
Yeah, and so how long is your film going to be running for?
It's going to be running 4 weeks, so it's there through Thursday.
Excellent.
At Flagship Cinemas, the Thomaston location of Flagship Cinemas.
Now, if you can prove that this is, you know, going to be something that you can make $1 or $2 on, is this you know, Flagship is not it's not, you know, completely small from a chain perspective. There's a few of them out there. Are you going to be playing at all the other ones as well, or you have plans of expansion at all? Any talks with that?
I don't know. I don't think we're not planning on it. If we put up like some big numbers, some like really big numbers, I think they might have looked at it. But I don't know. I think they've got maybe 12 locations, something like that, around mostly New England. And so now I think what it does for us, though, is it gives us some legitimacy in that we can go to other theaters and go, hey, look, we played here at this multiplex and we did okay. And so we're going to just start looking for other places to play it. I mean, we play in bars, we'll play in theaters, we don't care.
Now, I'm going to ask a slightly personal question on that note. Now, is it a revenue share type of situation, or is it, here's my movie, play it?
It's a revenue share.
Even better.
Yeah.
Even better. No, I think that's important as a distinction to make, because, I mean, I think I think getting people to take your movie and take your money is very easy to do. I think that getting people to be able to share that dollar with you is where the difficulty lies, and I'm glad to see that you're doing that. Now, this isn't your first rodeo either. I mean, you have another movie out there called Whale. Is that
no, Whale is not mine.
I thought that was yours. You gave it to me, so maybe that's what I was just thinking. Damn it. Sorry about that.
I just gave you the DVD.
So you gave me the DVD. Dude, I
would love to take credit for Whale.
Just tonight, you take credit for Whale, and no, that's okay. No one else. It's just me and you talking. You can take credit for it. No, but is this your first film?
Hello.
Hi, I'm here.
Oh, you were cutting out a little bit.
Oh, sorry about that. Is this your first film?
This is my first feature.
First feature, but you have done some shorts and stuff before.
Yeah, I had a short Gravita that played in a bunch of festivals, and it played in the Now Film Festival.
Mm-hmm.
Got to the finals of that somehow, and we lost by 1 vote to a film starring Rainn Wilson in an industry screening down on the Sony lot. And we had, they had Rainn Wilson, and we had a 23-minute, mostly silent movie about a pregnant woman.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah. And we only lost by 1 vote. So
a mostly silent movie with a pregnant woman in it is almost as popular as a Rainn Wilson movie. Almost. That's not bad. That's got to say the same something.
We actually did better than them in the thing that got us from the internet voting. We actually did better than the Rainn Wilson movie.
Oh, that's cool. Now let's talk about some of the other stuff you do, because you're very active in the indie community as well, and that's another thing that really caught my interest. You've been interested in and you've done some curating of a screening series in the past, kind of similar to the Indianapolis Pretentious Film Society.
Yeah, I do the Indies for Indies series, which is kind of on hiatus now because I don't know that there's enough of an audience to sustain it right now in Pittsburgh, and because we lost our time slot.
Oh.
But that's something that might be revived in the future. But that was a series we had running where we tried to bring films to Pittsburgh that weren't otherwise going to show up in town. Stuff like St. Nick and stuff like Whale, and Hell is Other People, and Loop. And we brought some of those, and we had a very enthusiastic group of regulars. The problem was there weren't really enough of them for us to keep our time slot.
Yeah, I gotta tell you, if you're down in Philly, you should talk to one of our audience members here, First Glance Films. I should hook you two guys up because he does a screening series at the Franklin Institute down there.
Oh, cool. I've had people asking me all day today when we're going to screen in Philly.
Yeah, so I should hook you up with him on the after the show, and you guys should chat.
Okay, cool.
But so you were obviously you're from down that way, right?
Yeah, I'm from Maine, and I live in Pittsburgh now.
Right. Well, and by from, that's what I meant. Like, you live down there.
Okay.
Now, you and I met out at DIY Days out in New York. What brought you there?
Well, I was my film was at the Pretentious Film Society, and then Perry was going to come to New York. Pericles was going to go from New York to Pittsburgh to screen at Indies for Indies, and he said, "Hey, if you want to go to DIY Days, I'm going to be going straight from DIY Days to Pittsburgh." And so I just went up to New York and hung out for a couple days, went to DIY Days, and that's where we met.
Yeah, we did meet there. It was love at first sight.
It was.
I got to tell you. And then we had lunch, and it was like the first date in a totally hetero way.
And there were sparks.
There were sparks, yes. I'm gonna leave it at that. As a director, as someone who's getting further and further in their career, you're in Pittsburgh. How do you find the indie scene out there?
There's not much of one in Pittsburgh, and that was kind of part of the idea behind Indies for Indies, was to build it. But that didn't really seem to work, at least yet. So it's just something that it's small, but you try to grow it. You try to find an audience where you can find it.
And do you think that a trip or a move to New York or LA, and it might be in your future as you grow your career?
I think, yeah, at some point I'm going to have to move. I have a bunch of people are trying to convince me to move to San Francisco, which is also a possibility because they have a lot of wine up there, and I do like to drink wine. So that could be a compelling argument. But yeah, I think New York or something is probably in the cards for me in the next X number of whatever.
No, well, and do you think that that's something that almost like as a director, as you evolve as a director, do you think that that's something that most people have to consider to be a part of the industry, or do you think that you can sustain outside of that?
I would like to be able to sustain outside of that because the cost of living is a lot lower outside of that, and that makes it a lot easier to sustain. But I don't know how practical that is. I mean, at some point, a city the size of Pittsburgh kind of runs out of resources to make the movies you want to make, and there's only so many times you can film the same buildings. Right. So I wonder if at some point you either have to move to a different mid-level city or you have to move to a bigger city.
Or you just shoot on green screen like we do, and you can shoot. It looks like you're shooting in Boston the whole time.
That's true. And one thing I might do when and I'd love to be able to figure out a way to base myself in a city and then go to other cities to make movies. But I mean, that's a little trickier. That requires being able to track down more resources.
Right.
I'm looking at maybe making a movie up here, and it's just a question of, like, I don't know any DPs up here, I don't know any actors, I don't know anybody up here, business-wise, so it's a question of how do you get all of those resources up to a new place and still trying to make the movies for the budget you can afford to make them under.
Now, on that note, I mean, as far as being in the independent film industry, we are kind of a somewhat tight-knit community,
right.
Albeit spread out over the world and mostly in this country. I mean, do you find it to be difficult to kind of keep up with that community? I mean, it seems like things are changing daily now, and both on a production and distribution level and marketing, and every time you turn around, there's a new film festival or a new website like mine or something like that. I mean, do you find it as a director from your side difficult to keep up with your industry?
Yeah, because I'm up here, I don't have 3G up here, and I don't have my laptop, and so I'm sure I'm missing a lot. Because I pull up Twitter, and it's like 300 new tweets, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm not reading all of those on the Edge network. So, you take a couple days and you go to a more remote area, and all of a sudden, I don't even want to know what's been happening the last couple of days.
Well, I can tell you.
Did I miss anything important?
Did you miss anything important? Well, I personally, I put out an article the other day that seemed to get some people talking, which I was happy about.
I did read that. I did see that. I was near the top when I opened it up, so I went, oh, okay, cool, I'll read that. That was interesting.
And then aside from that, the distributor that's got indicted out in Cannes. And
really?
Yeah. And that was interesting. And check in with Zach Forsman about that. For those of you out in the audience that don't know what I'm talking about, I believe the name of the distributor was York International, and they even actually approached Zach Forsman about one of his movies, and he sent out an email to all of his filmmaker friends as a response, basically telling them, go F yourself. So, because there's a bunch of stuff going on there. And of course, it's Cannes, so everything that is going on out there right now is what's going on. But you're not really missing much there because it's a lot of talk. Like a lot of things in the industry, and I hate that. But I mean, it's tough because it's you're trying to reach this global audience, and sometimes you feel that's all you have is the ability to talk. I know that I do. It's tough. Yeah. And we know, and we both know from experience that to do anything more than talk costs a lot of money.
It costs a lot of money, and it costs a lot of sweat equity, I guess, as they say on HGTV a lot. Yeah,
and you even, I mean, as someone who was a curator for a film screening series, You know, I'm sure you know that you know, putting your money where your mouth is. I mean, you're a good example. You and Perry are really great examples of that. And same thing with First Glance Film and Zach Forsman with Cinefist and the Film Courage Interactive people. All this stuff takes time and money, and you know, you know, it's good to see you guys doing that. I hope that Indies for Indies does get picked up again in the future, because that we need more things like that. Even if it's not something that's in Pittsburgh, if you can make that happen anywhere, you know, I would like to see that happen.
Well, that's the beauty of it. It isn't really, you know, confined to any one place. And so I could always pick it up again. I could move somewhere and pick it up somewhere. Or I could run it out of my living room, really. You know, I mean, and our audiences were small enough that we could fit our audience in my living room. So there's always that option. And at least then, you know, even if you've got 3 or 4 people coming in to see this movie, that's 3 or 4 people who didn't see that movie previously. You know, I've had, you know, a couple people this week email me saying, oh my gosh, I stumbled across your movie, I decided to go see it just on a whim, and I really liked it, and thanks so much, and blah, blah, blah. Mm-hmm. And that's the sort of thing that at our level, that's what we really, that's what we look for.
Well, let's get back on with Blank to Blank a little bit. You know, where did the story for this come from? Where'd you get the idea to do this? What was your motivating factor?
Well, the idea came from when Reed proposed the idea. I didn't have a script or an idea or anything, and so I just sort of started brainstorming. And my girlfriend said, my girlfriend's a nurse. She goes, well, what about this thing that I read about in this textbook? And I went, that's really cool. And I'm saying this thing instead of the thing because the film is a mystery, and that's the central mystery of it that we're not really giving away. And so then I called Rachel Shaw, and I called Jeremy Winsick, who does the score, and a couple other people, and I said, so here's the idea, and then what do you think? And we sort of, Rachel brainstormed it with me, and then we got Jason Kirsch involved, the male actor, and we brainstormed it, and over the course of a couple weeks, we came up with an outline and built a story around that. We did a ton of research on it. Mm-hmm. It doesn't show up in the film. So I'm a big believer in research. And so the whole film was improvised, really, and all of that improvisation comes from all that research we did. And we wrote like 20, 30 pages of backstory in order to write a 15-page outline for the film, and so they were able to use that backstory as their to build their characters throughout the course of the filming.
Now, one of the questions I have about your budget, I mean, you were very forthright with telling us what your budget was for the film, and right. Do you find, has there ever been a time where, you know, stating your budget has hurt you by people saying, like, well, it was only $950 or whatever, so it can't be that good?
No, not yet. I'm sure maybe people think that, but no one's ever said it to me.
By the way, I'm not saying that. I'm just asking, has it been said?
Right. Right. I think the number is so small that people just are stunned that you could even finish a film for that amount. And so they're just really they're just amazed that the number is that low. Do you think when you say, oh, we made it for a little bit of money, they think it's going to be like $10,000, $20,000. And when you go $900, they go, no way. And I think that maybe tweaks their interest to say, how could that possibly be true?
Excellent. No, I see that. Now, what did you shoot this film on?
We shot it on an HBX.
Oh, okay. 200?
Yeah, the 200.
200. Well, it could have been a 100, a 100A. Okay, so, and you edited on, I'm assuming, what, Final Cut?
Final Cut, yeah.
Yep, shocker. All you indie people. I gotta go out and get my Mac and edit on Final Cut. No, Sony Vegas. It's cheaper. No, I understand.
You pay for it.
I'll give you a copy. I have the power. But no, I find it amusing. No, it's the standard. So I mean, it's completely understandable. But no, I'm just giving you crap because I can.
That's all right. It's your show.
It kind of is. I do kind of lose track of that, but it really isn't my show. It's my audience's show. So,
Well, there you go.
you know, I wouldn't have a show if you weren't making films and people weren't interested in listening to your story about these films. And so let's go listen to a little bit more of your story real quick. I want to talk to you about what's coming up after Blank to Blank, or you know, either project-wise or is Blank to Blank coming out? Is it already on DVD that we can go pick it up at, or let's talk about that.
The DVD is, we're doing pre-orders for the DVD on the webpage, blocktoblockfilm.com. And we thought we were going to have the DVD done by now, but we don't. And I think the big holdup is we still need to do an audio commentary in which I will spend 80 minutes not answering the questions that people will have while they watch the film. But you can also get a digital download for $5 on the website, and via there we will send you a QuickTime file that you can watch on your computer, whether you use Sony Vegas or Final Cut or anything else.
Awesome. Well, that sounds really good. Now, as far as your DVD commentary is concerned, do you already have some great stories from that you're gonna spoil on there?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, we have some great stories about how we turned the gaffer into an actor, and how you get a overweight cat who's terrified of people to sit still long enough to do 6 takes of a scene. With big lights in his face and a big camera following him around.
Yeah, you could never get my cat to do that.
Yeah, it's tricky. You have to feed him, really, is the thing.
Huh.
You have to feed him, and you have to kind of hold him down, and then start rolling, and then take your hands away out of frame really quick.
No animals were hurt in the making of this film. Just saying.
Slow it down. You can slow the footage down quite a bit.
That's actually not a bad idea. I mean, and that's the kind of ingenuity from independent film people that like I come to expect. Like it's like I can't do it the way I want to do it, so I'm going to figure out another way to do it. I think that's really awesome.
Because he's in the script, so he's got to be there.
God forbid you cut that scene.
Yeah.
Do you as a director? I mean, obviously you have a very specific image of what this movie's going to look like in your head. Does that always match up with the script, or do you kind of edit as you go along in your head, or how does it? What's your creative process?
I start with like some images, and I do a lot of research. This it was a little different because we were moving so fast. But I'm a really big fan of letting the DP and the actors sort of explore as long as we've got the time to do it. And so if the DP wants to set up a shot and we've got time, we do it. And if the actor wants to try something, we do it. And I find that 9 times out of 10, that ends up being the movie. So I have no problem with them doing that, and I think it makes for a better project. And there's points, especially on this film, where we didn't really have time. We didn't storyboard or anything. We just were sort of running by the seat of our pants. My job with a lot of it was to sit back and make sure we weren't going too far in one direction or the other. It was really almost quality control at points.
And to
say, no, we can't go this far. No, we have to do this. We have to have that, and just to make sure everybody was on the same page.
And what would you have any other projects lined up after Blanc de Blanc is completed its theatrical run?
I don't know. I got 2 projects I'm working on right now. One is about a guy who commits suicide, and we try to figure out why. And the other one, I told an idea like 2 days ago about some guys on a fishing trip up in northern Maine. So I figured, well, I'm up here. And, it's one of those sort of like a Deliverance meets Jerry sort of project where the fishing trip goes really badly wrong.
Interesting.
So, but that's a question of, the trick with that is the place I would film it, there's no electricity. And so I'm not really sure how I'm going to do that if I decide to make it.
Well, I know what to get you for Christmas, double A's.
Yeah, lots of batteries.
But
the big reflectors.
Yes, exactly.
Strong flashlights.
That's great though. It's really great to see an independent filmmaker who's able to take advantage of any theatrical distribution. I know that it's hard to do it in general because generally it is a money loss type of situation for most filmmakers, and it's good to see that you do have a revenue sharing program with them, and that they're willing to take a chance on you. So Flagship Cinemas, you definitely have my thumbs up. And I want to thank you, Lucas, for coming on the show tonight. We're almost out of time. It flew by, didn't it?
It does fly by.
It does. I want to make sure everyone knows that you can go to, again, blancdeblancfilm.com to go purchase his film as a digital download or to get more information on his film. You can also follow Lucas on Twitter, twitter.com/LMcNelly. That's LMCNELLY. And also you're on Facebook as well, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, just look for him. He's there.
On Facebook, if you Google me, then you'll find everything you need to know. Email me, I don't care.
There you go. And while we're at it, just because we both like him and he's our friend of ours, let's just plug, Perry real quick. The Annapolis Pretentious Film Society, they've got a screening of The Scenesters coming up soon. Isn't it like this week?
It's pretty soon, yeah.
Yeah.
Perry is the nicest person I've ever met in film.
He's he reminds me of a slightly larger Quentin Tarantino.
I can see that, but I don't really like Quentin Tarantino, so I don't make that connection.
Well, I'll explain that another time when we have some more time, not on the show.
All right.
But I mean that, I do mean it in a playful and good mannered way. I like Perry a lot. I think he's a great guy. And he's another one of those guys like yourself. When you're doing indies for indies, that's doing a lot to further the indie community, getting more movies out there that are putting new things in front of new audiences. And I think that's really, really important for both the audiences and the filmmaker. So thank you very much, for Lucas, for coming on. I greatly appreciate it, and I look forward to my review of Blank to Blank, which in no way will be influenced by this interview. Will be up probably in the next few days or so.
Cool.
So
cool. I will look forward to it.
Yeah, I bet you will. Like, what the frick? This movie looked like it was made for $950.
You'd be like, it'd be more like, where did they spend $900? It looks like crap. It looks like it cost $50.
Well, at least he knows. No, I'm kidding. No, I'm kidding. Actually, no, it looks really good. I look forward to getting it, and while I have it, I look forward to watching it and reviewing it. I want to say, everyone know blancdeblancfilm.com. Go check it out because you'll be supporting a real indie guy and a real stand-up guy as well. So I look forward to seeing you in the near future, Lucas, and hopefully we'll hook up and make some sweet man love. And I'll talk to you later.
All right, great.
Have a good one, man. I'll talk to you.
All right, you too.
Later. Bye. That was Lucas McNelly, everybody. We just had an excellent show. I'm real happy with tonight's show. Another thing I want to bring up here at the end of the tail end of the show is there's a new web series. We love web series and videos and trailers and crap like that here. There's a new web series out there by a gentleman you guys might know by the name of Dan Fogler. I mentioned him at the top of the show. Jerry was actually at the premiere of this web series called Malarkey. That is available to watch over at Adam Films. www.adam.com, and I don't know the direct link. I think it is like a /Malarkey or something like that. It's M''Larky. It stars Dan Fogler. It also has appearances by Gilbert Gottfried, Jeffrey Ross. It's got a great cast. Really wacky, screwball type of stuff. But we're going to leave you with. We're going to leave you guys with the trailer for Malarkey, and because I think that it looks really interesting, and I want you guys to check it out. So, with that being said, I think that's a wrap for tonight's show. I really want to thank my guests, Darren Levine and Lucas McNelly, for coming on, and I want to thank everyone here in the audience for participating and watching, and you guys will see us next week, and you'll see us around as well at various film festivals and stuff like that. We've got some other great things coming up in the pipeline in the near future. I promise you, guys, spread it around. The Film Snobbery love. We got some great stuff coming up. I promise. So, everyone, I leave you with Malarkey.
I want to know how you became a cop.
Don't be mocking him, man.
Don't be mocking me, man. I got a cavity. It's the name, cherry tree hugging mother.
We broke free. We formed a committee. No
listen, we gotta focus!